this is Sandy with Needs a Ribbon, and I would like to share with you today an event, actually. I was going to say it's a project, but really it was more of an event that Stampin' Up! Offered summer of 2025. It was called a virtual album retreat, and we made an entire year's worth of scrapbook pages at that event. 12 two-page layouts, learned a lot of techniques, learned a lot in general, and it was so, to me, it was so worth it to attend, not only as a demonstrator, but just as a scrapbooker, because it kind of expanded on how I might plan out my pages going forward. And I would just want to share with you some of what, or, what was in that. We got these fabulous neutral matte dots. That's all I had left. That's actually pretty good. They offer these photo placeholders. Obviously, I have not used mine yet. And 2 stamp sets, month by month alphabet and month by month. Fabulous, neutral, awesome. And we're not going to talk. I actually did wash my stamp set, I think. Yes, I did. But good golly, by the end of it was a 3-day event. Oh boy, was that, they were gross. I actually did soak them. But let's go ahead and take a look. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail unless there's something to point out, but here is January, the 2-page spread from January. And you can see I don't have anything yet, but I need a note to, when I put it in the page protector, to cut a slit so these can be pulled out. That was a technique that I learned, and I'm like, that is cool. So we've got these little tag pullouts, and you could go both sides for photos. So that was nice. I've got a little blurby stamping. I had a problem where I first started out. I'm like, oh, this won't take up much room. And I started out, why is this? Oh, I've got it the wrong way. Working from a very small table. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a mess. I ended up having to bring up one of my 3-foot by 6-foot tables to work from, because I mean, you need a fair amount of work just to work on this, and then all your supplies and everything, and it was just easier. And okay, so here's February, and that was a really fun technique to learn, to kind of cut the paper going that way. Photo mats. Item of note, cut a slit in the paper protector, the page protector for that. So that was February. Fun. Again, my stamping was not super perfect for some of them because of my work surface. It got better as it went on and when I moved to a larger table. But here is March. And again, I kind of wished I hadn't pre-stamped that. They recommended, if you aren't sure about your journaling and you wanted to, item the photos, to not do that. And I kind of wished I had, but that's okay. I've got paper. I've got the paper and the ink and all that. So yeah, there were some things provided. We had to provide ink, a paper trimmer. We did have to cut the paper. They provided all the paper, but we did have to trim it. And so here is April showers, and really pretty page, honestly. We did a lot of sponging and stuff, and these banners, clouds. Yep, April. Here is May. That was fun. I actually really like how that turned out. And you could even tuck some photos in there. And these pages are fairly heavy because and that's without the photos. June, we started getting to the flip-flaps. So here we could add more photos this way. And I could actually add another layer of flip-flaps if I thought. So I'm going to have to cut a slit when I do finally do these into my page protector. So you can flip these up. And that is a technique. And again, our instructions came with how to do that. And they also taught us. So that was really nice. July. Really pretty. Fireworks. Again, that was in the stamp set. Was it not? Yes, there was some kind of... These are smaller than they actually are. There was a big starburst. Again, yeah. And I've got to put the year in here and some stuff like that, and I'll have to add something to that at some point. I left it blank, so it could be when I get paper in there or whatever. This was fun. So this was a paper that is already like pre-embossed, and then we used our blending brushes and colored in some ink there. That was a really fun, and this layer came pre-cut. We punched that out, and obviously we used half of that over here to make like a timepiece coming around. And then we have all these flippy flappies. Again, I could add more if I think I'm going to need them for August. September. What was noteworthy about September? Oh, this little album was taught by Sarah Douglas. Oh my goodness. Look at all this goodness. You can add journaling or photos here, more tags, more stuff tucked here. That was a really fun one to learn, genuinely. That is something that you could do as a gift even. Don't have to put it on a piece of paper. You could just make that. Anyway, I saw a lot of possibilities with that. So that's September. October. Love the circles. Love the colors of these pages. And so we took a large circle and just folded it over to make like a little pocket. Again, some great ideas. November, this paper, you might be able to see it. They had some paper, white paper that had, I could have taken a blending brush to really kind of bring out that embossed texture. Here's a little pull-out tag. Really pretty elements. This was a pull-out. I think this, nope, that's attached. And then we're at December. Really pretty. And again, more pull-outs. That was a 2-level pull-out. And you could certainly, if you needed more, I only put these on with one little glue dot so I can rip them up later when I get pictures in here. So they're just kind of, you don't need to use them. I wanted to see visually what the page would look like. I thought that might be easier to put them all in so I can kind of get a visual. And again, it lists what pictures you need to. So these are very layered pages, but it's very pretty. Anyway, I hope that's to help you kind of see when we have these virtual retreats, what it all entails. And again, here's just some of the supplies. There was baker's twine and some other stuff. Yeah, whatever. Don't think I needed to show you all of it, but yeah, you can tell I haven't washed them yet. Oh, for shame. They were very well loved. I thought I did. Maybe I just didn't put them back the right way. That's probably what happened. I know I washed them. Anyway, very well loved over the 3-day. We have another card retreat coming up, and they're going to be offering album retreats, I believe, once a year going forward, and card retreats once a year going forward, or some sort of pattern like that. And these retreats are a great opportunity to just kind of experience different techniques, different teachers. You learn. I found that even though I've been doing this for a lot of years, that I picked up little different things from each of the people that taught, just little tips and tricks. And so again, it was very worth it for me to do this, to spend the time, to the money. And also, once you sign up for these, those videos are available for a year, I believe, or maybe they're forever. I'm not sure, but it's hosted on Facebook on a private group, and they're available for a long time, something like that going forward. So you can go back, and now that you've got the instructions and all that, again, you could recreate, you could add on more pages and all that. I just found it was a really great, it was fun. It was genuinely fun, and there's camaraderie and all that other stuff. You know, they really do kind of make it, you're not quite sitting with other people. I know some people sign up for these and then they all gather together as a group to go do them. Anyway, that I just wanted to share with you. That was the virtual album retreat from summer, can't remember what days it was, of 2025, that Stampin' Up! Offered to put together a whole year of a scrapbook album. Anyway, thank you for watching today, and we will see you on the very next one. Bye.